Hey, what's up, metal and heavy music fans? It's Flight of Icarus again with MetalTrenches.com, and today I'm going to watch the latest music video from DEVILDRIVER. It's called Iona, but before I do that, if you like to stay up to date with the best and brightest metal albums and bands from the underground and above, then stick with me by hitting that subscribe button down below. I upload new content every single week. Let's give it a watch. Napalm. Been a big fan of DEVILDRIVER for a long time, but kind of always mixed opinions of their albums. They're kind of hit and miss. If you want to really hear my thoughts on all that, you should check out my tier list I did on all the albums leading up to this one. Did not particularly care for the last one, but I was pleasantly surprised by Touch No One, Trust No One. That was a solid album, and especially with the terrible cover art it had, I was not expecting it to be. But I'd put it probably in my top 4 from the band, but I'm personally just a bigger fan of their first 3 albums. Creepy Lady. This is a very, early 2000s feeling video already. Okay, start. Nice riff, a little simplistic. This is a problem I've been having lately with a lot of the mainstay bands this year. There's been a lot of great music. If you follow the channel, as you know, I've been talking about it. But as far as the mainstay acts, like Lamb of God, etc., I just feel like they've been kind of just playing it really safe in terms of the riffs, the vocal arrangements, the songwriting. They're all perfectly fine albums. They're just not great. They're just kind of generic sounding. It feels like a lot of stuff I've already heard before, and already with this song I'm just kind of feeling some of that. It's I've heard a lot of this already, just done better with more energy. But it's not a bad song at all. Even here, alright, we got the chorus, and it's just sort of okay. It's fine, it's passable, but it's with this, they're trying to make this She Carries a Black Rose, a really anthemic, sing-along moment, which I'm all for. I love that stuff. That's some of my favorite stuff on metal albums. But it just doesn't grab me in any meaningful way to get me to want to sing along with it. I don't know what it is. It's just missing something. Okay, this part's kind of cool. But even here, just if you listen to those guitars, I like that little part, but besides that, it's just sort of a very basic chord progression. I've heard all this stuff just a million times before. Sorry, I had a distraction behind me. That happens frequently. Yeah, I want to be thrilled by that part, but it's just nothing there for me. No feeling. And we got a solo here. But even this is just sort of generic rock solo. I want to go back to Hold Back the Day. That track is just full of moments that just grabs me by the throat and forces me to headbang. You just can't help it. Yeah, this is all perfectly fine. It's just sort of C-tier metal music. Just disappointing, because I know they're capable of more. And again, not just on their early material, but just 2 albums ago, they were dropping tracks that, despite me going in with low expectations, really got me moving, and I still enjoy that album. Yeah, just there's aside from that one little guitar part with the na 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 na, that's kind of it for me. I'm not super excited for this album, but I've been a longtime fan of Devil Driver. I have fond memories of picking up their first album at Best Buy in high school. Having been a Coal Chamber fan for a long time, been disappointed that they broke up, and then hearing that he had this new band and hearing some of the singles, when I Could Care Less came out, I listened to that song on repeat at school over and over and over again and was just so hyped to get that album. And so don't take this as a bunch of hate. People get so butthurt too. Like it's like the minute you criticize a band, even if it's a band you love, everybody starts trying to justify how you like listened wrong or you're not a real fan or whatever. And to me, that's bootlicking nonsense. It's like if you're a real fan or a real friend even of like a band, then it behooves you to criticize them when they do things that you don't like. If you're just constantly like, oh, everything they do is good, all of their albums are S tier, to me, that's just so fake and unpleasant. But that's just my opinion. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Maybe you really love this song, and I like to keep the conversation open. This is all subjective, obviously. If you loved it, good for you. Great. I'm not going to give you crap for that. It's just when people, like don't allow you to have an alternate opinion, that annoys the heck out of me. But let me know what you think about that as well. And again, stick around because there's plenty more videos coming up, more of these track commentaries, also album tier lists, for fans of lists where I take a bigger band and recommend you other bands that sound like them. The podcast where I get to interview lots of really interesting bands and all sorts of other stuff. There's tons of videos for you to enjoy at this point. So if you haven't already, again, please do subscribe. Also in the description, you can find links to all of our social media, the email newsletter, and our Patreon and Subscribestar if you want to make that extra jump to becoming a supporter. But I think that'll do it for now. Flight of Icarus signing off. I will see you in the trenches.